A public meeting was held in support of the Sri Lankan Muslim Congress candidates contesting the Eastern Provincial Council election. The meeting was held in the Manchole area in Valachene Provincial Council. Candidate Asad Sali also addressed the meeting.
Electricity board profit load.
It is said that the Ceylon Electricity Board is making profits. If it is making profits, then why has this province not had electricity for 3 days? If the CEB is so profitable, why has no action been taken to restore the supply? Schools everywhere are facing teacher issues. A question needs to be raised as to whether the Eastern Province has been developed and roads have been constructed. Has a place been provided to dump garbage? Do they clear garbage without being bribed? The answer is no.
You're watching
news first, and up next is a look at our special segment Flashback.
Issuing of tickets made mandatory for private buses in 2008. According to the National Transportation Commission, the objective was to ensure the safety of passengers. It is 4 years since the implementation of this rule. This is what our cameras captured today. When will this rule be implemented rather than being limited to paper?
Time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
DMK members carried out a protest in the Rajya Sabha today against the Indian government training Sri Lankan forces at Indian air bases. The Hindu reported that DMK members in the Rajya Sabha moved to the aisles carrying banners that read, "Stop training Sri Lankan army." Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, Hamid Ansari, called the House to order. Meanwhile, Parliament remained deadlocked for the 6th day today as the BJP stuck to its demand for the resignation of Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh on the coal block allocation issue. Meanwhile, India's junior defence minister Palam Raju said yesterday the training of Sri Lankan defence personnel, which has raised a storm in Tamil Nadu, was part of an ongoing process with friendly foreign countries.
This training of officers from friendly foreign countries is an ongoing process, and we believe that Sri Lanka is a friendly foreign country, and the training will go on, of course, but when there is resistance from local governments towards, and we have to take into consideration their sensitivities, but the training is an ongoing program, and that is what also strengthens our bilateral relationship, and that will continue.
The remains of the victims who were murdered in the Muragahene area in Horana are currently lying at their residence. According to the police, the killers are still at large.
The bodies have been handed over to the relatives after the post-mortem was carried out at the Horana Base Hospital yesterday. It was revealed that the deaths had been caused by head injuries from a shooting. 4-year-old Tushana Navanjana and her father died from the shooting. According to our correspondent, the nursery friends of little Tushana Navanjana had also arrived to pay their last respects to the slain 4-year-old.
The charred remains of a human body have been found inside a kiln near the 8th mile post in Ridhimaliyada, Mahiyanganaya. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana said that the remains are of an individual reported missing since last Saturday. The police media spokesperson said that the charred remains were discovered inside the kiln located in the backyard of the deceased person's home today. The deceased is a 26-year-old father of one.
The suspect in the Vallavata triple murder who wished to make a confession has given a confidential statement to Colombo Additional Magistrate Nishant Piris. This was when the inquiry into the murder of the suspect's parents and sister was taken up today.
The police, while informing court of the progress in the investigations, said that a statement cannot be obtained from the suspect until a report on his mental state was obtained. The police also informed court that the medicine found in the suspect's possession at the time of his arrest and the medicine found in the victims were identical. The police requested court to further remand the suspect until the JMO's report was obtained. Thereby, the suspect was further remanded until the 11th of September. On the 18th of this month, the 3 dead bodies of the father, mother and daughter of the same family were discovered inside a house located down Ramakrishna Road in Velavatta.
In the latest twist to the prevailing energy crisis, the Ceylon Electricity Board says that electricity generation at the Lakvijaya power plant in Norachole cannot commence until the 2nd of September. Speaking to News First, the CEB Deputy Chairman said that if they are unable to power up the Lakvijaya plant on that date, then scheduled power cuts will have to be introduced in the nights as well.
The first coal power plant in the country, the Lakvijaya power plant in Norachole, with a generation capacity of 300 megawatts, was added to the national grid in March last year. Accordingly, over the past year, the Norachole power plant accounted for 9% of the country's power generation, while hydropower supplied 40%, thermal power supplied 50%, and alternative sources contributed 1%. However, with the prevailing dry weather conditions over the past several months, hydropower generation reduced to between 20 and 12%. Accordingly, thermal power plants now account for between 80 and 88% of the country's electricity generation. Due to the high cost of thermal power generation, the Norachole coal power plant was relied upon to compensate for the hydropower shortfall. However, a breakdown at the plant on the 24th of July removed 300 megawatts from the national grid. Accordingly, the CEB introduced scheduled power cuts in several urban areas. Following repairs, the plant was powered up again, but it was shut down on the 8th of August and more repairs have been ongoing since then. Since the plant was first added to the national grid in March 2011, it has broken down numerous times, rendering it inoperational for over 150 days. The latest breakdown on the 8th of August was supposedly caused by a fault on the supply line from Norachole to Veyangoda. While a team of Chinese engineers arrived in the island to rectify the problem, equipment was also brought down from China. Following the repair, attempts were made to repower the plant yesterday, but these attempts ended up in failure. We completed repair work and then commenced operating it on a test basis. Unfortunately, a new fault has arisen with the main transformer in the plant. We hope to complete repairs by the 2nd of September and then connect it to the national grid. Our members got to know from trusted sources that the engineers from China had stated that the transformer needs to be inspected before commencing power generation. The specialists in the CEB have rejected the advice. This has occurred because of that. We have no experience with a fault like this in one of the main transformers. We reject allegations that this was caused as a result of haste. The repair work and repowering of the plant was done with the participation and leadership of the Chinese engineers. With poor rainfall in the hydro catchment areas, how can power be supplied continuously if the Norachole power plant remains inactive? If that occurs, then we will have to consider implementing power cuts in the evenings as well. Our engineers are now working tirelessly to ensure that we do not have to impose power cuts in the night. The government built the Norachole plant and then said that we are self-sufficient in electricity and we can even export electricity to India. What has happened now? If good quality equipment was used and this was done right, then public funds would not have been wasted like this. Norachole is not the solution. The government needs to give the people an alternate solution. After the Lakvijaya plant was initially powered up, it was operated by the Chinese corporation which supplied it. Operations were handed over to the CEB on the 22nd of July 2011. The Chinese corporation had provided a 2-year guarantee on the plant from that point. Accordingly, the corporation is obliged to repair the plant in the event it breaks down. However, the cost of such repairs must be borne by the CEB. While CEB officials are quick to acknowledge that some of the machinery installed in the first phase of the Lakvijaya power plant is faulty, work on the second phase is going ahead. It has come to our attention that some of the equipment used in the first phase was substandard. Although the equipment for the second phase of 600 megawatts is also coming from China, they have taken steps to secure it from other companies. The Norachole power plant was built at a cost of over $450 million, making the entire nation debtors. The same sum of money used to construct the 5 main reservoirs was spent on the Norachole plant. Who wanted this dubious power plant built? Who is going to be held responsible for the substandard construction? The burden cannot be placed on the people.
The JVP says that the drought is not the cause for the water shortage experienced in the North Central province. Politburo member of the JVP, Anukumar Disanayaka, expressed this view at a public meeting in Nochiagama yesterday.
On the 22nd, the Kala River was filled with water, but come June, it was empty. What is the reason for this? The banks have been destroyed and forests have been cut down with the use of dozers, and hotels have been built for the foreigners. When it rains, the mud is washed away and settles at the bottom of the tanks. Now the government is preparing a project to make the tanks more beautiful. A hotel on the banks, a carpeted road and another road running next to it. A park next to the tank. This is to make the Tisa River, the Nachaduvu River and the Kala River beautiful. For whose benefit is this? The foreigners.
Still in local news, a special puja is taking place at the Natha Devalaya in Kandy for the country to achieve prosperity and the eradication of corruption and fraud. The puja, organized by the United Bhikkhu Front, was also attended by opposition politicians and representatives of civil society organizations. The puja is chaired by the Anunayaka of the Malwada chapter of the Siam Mahanikaya, Venerable Dimbul Kumbure Vimala Dharma Thera. Venerable Girambe Ananda of the United Bhikkhu Front and the national organizer Venerable Ulapane Sumangala Thera were among those present.